Hello, hello. This is Rod, Live Within Your Means. And what I've got here is just a few things that you can use to cook a Queensland Blue squash. We've got salt and pepper here. And we've got some onion powder. We've got some garlic powder. I'm going to drop it. I did drop it, Garlic powder. And then my wife likes to use this rib rub, which has a number of ingredients in it, and then extra virgin olive oil that she likes to put over it. So what I'm going to do is just cut this up and show you what it takes to cut this up. These are fairly hard, and so if you take that stem and break the stem off, so you don't have to worry about cutting through it. And these are pretty good squash. They're sweet like a butternut. My wife is from Queensland, Australia, really Brisbane, and Queensland is kind of like the state. It'd be like saying she's from California, and she loves these Queensland Blue squash. So she got seeds when we were over there for these Queensland Blue squash. And they're called Queensland Blue because they're kind of a bluish color on the outside, kind of a gray, blue, green. And then inside, they're pretty thick with this really delicious meat. And like I said, it's sweet like a butternut. And what we want to be able to do, I'm going to grab a scoop to scoop the seeds out of this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put those in a dish for a moment. Actually, I can put them right on this plate. I'm going to move this for a minute so that we can show where we're putting those seeds. And actually, I'll probably just scoop them out onto this board first. And it's easier a lot of the time to just cut this into quarters. That makes it easier just to scoop those seeds out of there. So we'll cut this into 4 quarters. And then we're going to scrape all these seeds out. Now these seeds can be replanted, and we've replanted them before, and they grow pretty well. These are really a delicious squash. What I didn't realize, because we didn't grow a lot of squash in the garden that we had growing up, because my father doesn't like squash. And these squash are a winter squash that'll last all winter long. It is just a few days before Thanksgiving right now, 2020. I think it's like the 22nd. It might be the 21st, but I think it's 22nd November today. To be honest with you, I really don't remember. It's Sunday. And we're going to cook some vegetables to take my parents. My dad will be a little less excited because we've got squash, but I fooled him last year on one of these, and I had my parents thinking that it was yams because they're so sweet. And after they'd eaten the yams, mashed yams, then I let him know that it was actually Queensland Blue squash, and he certainly didn't complain about it while he was eating. And but he's not a squash lover. We think it tastes pretty good, and so it'll be one of the options today. We'll be probably cooking some more on Thanksgiving, because we've got quite a few stored up in the cellar. And yeah, we ate the last one from the year before last June, and so they really will last, and they'll harden up on the outside, and yet when you cook them, it's just delicious, tender, sweet. And so we've got these seeds. I'm just going to put these seeds in this bowl for right now and deal with these a little bit later, and separate them out, put them on some paper towels to grow. And in fact, I was going to say, if anybody wants to send a self-addressed stamped envelope to me, and I don't know, should I charge them a few dollars, self-addressed stamped envelope inside another envelope, and make a donation, then I'm happy to send a few of these to you if you've got a self-addressed stamped envelope inside it. And you can send that to the address on Well, I've got another site called Appraiser Broker. If you want to look it up there, I'm in Pleasant Grove, Utah. You can just put the address right there. Anyhow, so here's these seeds. I've got another video earlier on saving the seeds to grow another year. Here's our Queensland Blue all cut into quarters, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut it up into smaller pieces to cook in the oven. It'll cook in probably 45 minutes to an hour, and I'm just going to cut this up into smaller pieces. And what's kind of neat about winter squash is that you can cut it up and cook it months after you've put it in your cellar, or even keeping it just at room temperature. Months later, you don't have to do anything except pick it and put it somewhere that it's not going to freeze, and hopefully where it's not going to be baking in the sun. Cook. It doesn't store quite as well. Most things don't when they're really warm, but you don't have to have it in a root cellar either. And but we have access to a cellar where we can keep some of our stuff. So we've got a few dozen different squash in that cellar, and you'll notice that there's quite a bit of squash here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save these for Thanksgiving. I'm going to put those in the fridge. I'm going to cover them with plastic, or better yet, I'm just going to shove them inside of a grocery bag, and they'll be just fine. We'll be able to cook those again. We'll cook these on Thanksgiving. So I'm just going to put those in a bag and put it in the fridge. Don't ever throw away your shopping bags. You can always use them again. We pick things in them all year long. We use them inside of garbage cans, and we use these all the time. I'm going to put this in the fridge. So we've got half of that in the fridge for Thanksgiving. We'll be cooking some other vegetables with it then. And then here are these pieces of squash. And what my wife likes to do is she likes to cover these with oil, with olive oil, and we've got a little red brush. Where is that red brush, honey? Is that in the drawer?
Under the microwave, yep.
I don't see it there.
Could be.
Well, like I said, I don't see it there, and I need it right now. Can you please tell me where it is? Oh, it's small or under my nose. Okay. So she just corrected me. Apparently I was too blind to see it. And all I'm going to do is put a little bit of olive oil in this bowl. And then I'm going to brush that over these squash. And then the salt, the pepper, the garlic powder, and everything else will stick to it. And it'll come out pretty good. I'll cover it with a piece of foil after I get all the stuff on it. But it really doesn't take that much to prepare this, and my wife will often do it with some onion and potatoes in the same thing. I'm not going to worry about that right now. And we'll just have these for an extra vegetable today at lunchtime over at my parents' place. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of pepper on this. Hopefully you can see it good. Let's see, yeah. And a little bit of salt. My wife suggested this rub, which she's put on many times. I really think that's got some garlic and onion in it, to be honest with you. Let's see. On the ingredients. Yep, it's got garlic in it. I don't really see onion in it, so I'm going to take the onion powder and add some of that to it. There we go. Now, I'm not a pro at this, but I have done it before, and it'll end up tasting pretty delicious. And let's see where we've got that piece of foil that's already been used, but we can use it again. Let's see if I've got a bigger one here. Here's one that was just used the other day, and we have no problem with using something a second or even a third time. Now this can go in the oven at like 300 degrees, 350 or 400 degrees. I'll put it in at 350, leave it in there for an hour, and that'll be good. But this is Rod. Live within your means. Have a wonderful day.